Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to create a random password generator application using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So this is the application you can see. So here we have our application interface, and first of all we have some options. So first of all we have option for our password length. So minimum we will allow 6 character, but by default it is 12. So if I come here, let's say that I want to have 10 character. And after that I have other options like if I wanna add capital letters, small letters, numbers or special characters. So let's say that I wanna add them all, and if I generate my password, you can see this is my password, and if I wanna generate again, it will be always random. And here also if I wanna say that, let's say that I do not wanna add numbers in my password, so if I uncheck that and if I generate my password, so this is the password where we do not have any kind of number included. So this is really awesome, you can see. So you can generate the password as you want, and after that you can copy the password by clicking this button. So if I click this button, we will have this alert that the password is copied, and if I want to paste it here, I can paste the password as you can see. So great. So yeah, that's it. This is really a small application using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and I hope you guys will like that. And also this application is a part of our 30 days 30 submits repository. If you want to improve your HTML, CSS and JavaScript skill by creating this kind of a small component or a small JavaScript applications, so you can check out the repository. I will link it in the description. Here you will find all the project and source code and video tutorial for each of our submits. Here you will find all the information about the repository. I hope you guys will also like that. So right now here we have our HTML file, CSS file and JavaScript file. So let's get into the HTML one, and here first of all let's create the boilerplate, and in here after that let's also change the title. So let's say that it will be password generator application, and that's all. And if I do that and come here and refresh, you can see the application title is now changed. So great. Inside the body here, let's actually do all the markups. So first of all I will have a section, and inside this section I will have a div which will have a class. So let's also have a class here, and the name of the class will be the container. So inside this container we'll have our password generator form. So let's get a form, and let's also remove the action here, and beside that also let's have a class. Instead of class let's have the ID, and here I will have password generator form ID. Inside the form we will have a div for our result. So let's get a div with a class of result, and inside that we will have our input. So this will be the input for the result. So this is where we will display the result, and also let's have ID of result here. And after that let's have a placeholder, and let's say that I will have minimum 6 character as a placeholder, and if I do that I can see my input with a placeholder of minimum 6 character, and also this should be char, so 6 character like that. So after that we will have a div. After this input let's have a div. So this will be the clipboard. Let's also have a class name here with the name of clipboard, and inside that we will have our icon. So in this project we will use one icon. So this icon will be from the ion icons. So let's go to ion icon website. So here we have our ion icons, and inside that if I go to the usage, so now here you can see in the usage inside the installation we have these script tags. So let's actually copy those. Let me copy it, and we just need to add it here. Once we do that, after that we can use it. I mean, so we can use the icon. So for that we need to use it like that. And what I will do is I will go to the icons here and search for the clipboard. I already searched that, you can see. So clipboard, so this is the icon that we are going to use. If I click that, here is the, so this is the format, or this is the ion icon tag that we need. So copy it and paste it wherever you want to use it. So now you can see we have this ion icon. So it is too little, but we are having the icon here. Great. So after the icon let's go to our next stuff. After the result, so this is the result div, and after this div let's also go to another div. So this div will have our fields. So let's create another div with a class of field. So this will be our single field. So the first one will be for our capital letter. So let's say that I will have a label for that. So label for we will name it so first one will be the length, okay, not the capital letter. So first one will be for our length. So let's say that for length, and the label will be length, and after that we will have an input. So it will be a number, so this will be a number of length, and also we can say id will be length, and also here the name will be length as well. Great. And the value, so the default value will be the 12, and the minimum value that we will accept will be the 6. So this is also what we said here, minimum character that we wanna have is the 6 characters, and that's why I also added the minimum character 6 in the input. So if I save that, now we should see another input with the level of length, and this is the first field, and we need to do the same thing for our next div, I mean the next field. So let's also have a class here with the name of field, and inside that we will have our field. So this will be for our capital, so level for the capital, and here I will say capital. So instead of that, if you want to use something like uppercase term, you can use that, uppercase or lowercase, but I will use capital letter or a small letter. So after that, let's create the actual input. So the input will be, in this case, it will be a type of checkbox, and by default it will be checked. And also we need to create the id here. So id will be check, not check, so id will be capital actually, whatever we did for our for. So now if I save that, now we have a capital letter, and this is by default checked. Great. And we need to do the same thing for our small letter. So copy the whole field and paste it here. So now this one will be the small letter, so I will do the small, and here I will say small. But as I said, if you want to use term like uppercase or lowercase, you can do it here. And also let's say that small here, id. Great. So now after that we will have the field for the number. So this will be number character. So let's also copy it one more time and paste it here. So now instead of a small letter, it will be number, and also numbers. Numbers like that, and also the id will be number. Great. Now we have the number, but it will not be the default check, so I will remove the checked here. So now it is not checked by default. So similarly we need the last field, which is the special character. So in this field the for will be symbol, so this will be all the special characters, and here I will have the special character, and the id will be symbol, like that. Great. So now you can see we have all of our fields. So after that we will have our last stuff, which is the submit button. So after whole these div, so this is the div which will wrap everything. After this div we will have another button, not another button, this is the only button here. So type will be submit, and let's say that the text will be generate password, like that. So now we have our generate password button, which is having the type submit. So once we have all of the things that we want here, so after that I will actually go to our style.css. So first of all, let's link the css file here. So let's say that link css and styles.css, that's all. And here in our css, first of all, let's say that all the element will have padding 0 and margin 0, and box sizing will be the border box. So now you can see all the HTML elements are having padding 0, margin 0, and the box sizing border box. And after that, let's go to our Google Fonts. So come here in the Google Fonts and come here, search for Inter. So this is the font that we are going to use here. So let's select regular 400 and select this Once you do that, so now to import that, we need to just copy this import tag from here and paste it in the top here. So to use this font, I will say font size will be enter for all of our element. Sorry, it will be font family. So font family enter, and if I do that, you can see all the font that we have in our HTML are having the font family enter. Great. So after that, in our CSS, I will say for our body, I will have a background. So background will be, so let me copy the background color. So this will be our background. Now you can see this dark background, and also the font color. So for that I will use this white color, and if I save that, and also beside this we will say the font size for this whole body will be 18 pixel, and that's all I think. After that, let's say that the section. So in this HTML we have only one section, so that's why I just selected the section with the section tag. Great. After that, I will say in the section the mean height, for that I will have the 100 VH, and also we'll have a width of 100%. Finally, display will be flags, and flags direction, not direction, I will say align item center, and justify content center as well. If I do it correctly, now you can see the content of our whole section is now in the center. And also I will have some padding in the top and bottom, so the padding will be around 100 pixel in the top and bottom. Great. And after that, we need to work on our container. So select the container and say that padding will be 30 pixel, and we will have background color. So let me copy the background color. So the background color will be this one. Now you can see this is our container, and in the container we have our padding. You can see the padding all around 30 pixel. And also let's have a box shadow here. So box shadow, let me copy the box shadow that I want. So this will be a subtle box shadow, something like that. And after that, I will say the width will be, so width will be 90%, and also max width will be 400 pixel. So now you can see if I do that correctly, the width is now 90% and max width is 400 pixels. So that's why the container width now is currently having the 400 pixel, and whenever I will go to the small device, it will have only the 90% width. Great. So that's all. After that, let's go to our form, and inside the form I will have the width of 100% and font size of 20 pixel. After that, let's go to our result. So this is the result class, and inside that I will have the background color. So let's say that background color will be this will be a white background color for our input. So let me copy that. So that's all. Now you can see, and after that we'll have a position. Position will be relative because we will have something absolute inside this div, so I will get back to it later. And margin bottom will be, let's say that around 30 pixel, and also we'll have border radius here, so border radius 6 pixel, and finally overflow will be hidden. If I do it correctly, you can see overflow is hidden, we have our border radius and also all other things. And finally, after the result, inside the result we have the result input. So this is the input, and inside the input I will say the width will be, for this input will be 85%, and after that the height will be 100%, and after that the border, let's say that the border will be none, and outline will be none as well, and background color will be, so we do not want to have any kind of background color for this one, so let's say that transparent. And if I do that, so now this is our input, and for now let's say that the border we will have a border so that we can see it. So this is the input, you can see this part, and here inside the input I want to say the font size will be 20 pixel, and also the padding will be around 10 pixel. Great. Now we have our this result input. So let's also say that the border will be none, so there will be no border. And after that we want to have this icon in the right side, and for that I will actually say the icon will be, so let's actually select the icon first of all. So inside the result we have clipboard, so this is the icon, and here I will have a width of 15%. So here you can see 85% for our input and 15% for our icon. So this will be the clipboard icon, and the height will be 100%. And after that the position will be, so let's say that the position will be absolute. So we are having position absolute, and this is the reason why we had this position relative before. Great. Now we can position it as we want. So let's say that the right will be 0, so it will be in the right side, and also we'll have the top 50%, and also we will have the translate y minus 50%. Sorry, and if I do that correctly, now it is in here, so we cannot see that. So for that we need some background color. So let me actually have the background color. So the background color for this one will be the royal blue, and if I do that, I can see now this is the clipboard div that we have, and inside that we have our SVG icon. So let's also say that the color for this SVG will be the white, and after that we'll have a display flex. So we need to actually center the icon, so that's why display flex, align items center, and justify content center. Great. So finally we need to do two more things here. So font size, I need to increase that, so let's say that it will be 25 pixel, and finally the cursor will be pointer. That's all. Now it is a little bit bigger and the cursor is now pointer. Great. So this is our result. We have our input here, and also we have our button, you can say, or clipboard icon in the right side. Great. So after that let's work on our field. So we have some fields here, you can see, so we need to style that. So let's say that field will have the height of 40 pixel. So each of our field will have height of 40 pixel, and margin top will be 5 pixel, and after that we'll have border radius. So border radius will be 4 pixel, and we will have a justify content. So before that display flex, and align items, not align items, we only need justify content, space between. So if I do it correctly, you can see for each of our fields child are having all the space between them. So that is what we want here. So align items will be center, and let's say that padding right will be 10 pixel. If I do it padding right 10 pixel, you can see there will be a little bit padding, so you will see it clearly whenever we will have a hover effect. And for that hover effect we need some transition. So transition will be 0.3 second ease, and this will be only for background color like that. And also let's have the transition here, I mean hover effect here. So field, if I hover any kind of field, in that case I will have a separate background color. So let's actually add that. So let's add that background color. Let me copy the color that we want and paste it here. Now if I hover any of them, you can see we are having background color, and also here you can see this amount of padding, this is what we are having from here, you can see. But the problem is I think we are having the padding in the right side only, so that's why I can see padding in the right side, there is no padding in the left side. What I want actually here is padding in the all side. So I will have padding 10 pixel for the all side, and if I do that, you can see the padding, we are having the padding for all the 4 sides here we have. Great. So we want to actually change our length. So this length input is not having proper style, so let's actually work on that. So for the length we need to select that, and we need to select it very easily, field, and I will say the input, which is having the type number. and now we have only one input which is having type number, so that's why I just can do it like that. So it will select the field, I mean it will select the input which is inside the field which is also having the type number. So this is the one that we want. So for that one I will say the width will be 50 pixel, and if I do that you will see it will be a lot shorter, and after that the outline will be none, and also the border will be none, and padding we will have is the 10 pixel, but we do not want to have any kind of padding in the right side, so padding right will be 0. And if I do that, now you can see nice padding all around, great. The font size will be around 16 pixel, and finally we need to have a border radius here. Border radius will be 16 pixel as well, sorry, not 16 pixel, it will be 6 pixel, great. And also you can see we are having a problem here. So whenever I hover that, there is this extra padding in the, not extra padding, this is what we intentionally added here. You can see padding 10 pixel all around. We do not want it for the first element, I mean for the length we do not want it. I think it will be good if we remove it for the first element, and for that what I need to do is I need to select the first type. So dot field first of type, and it will select the first of type which is the length one, and for that one I do not want to have any kind of padding. So for this one I do not want to have padding, so I do not want to have padding in the right side actually, so padding right will be 0, and if I do it, now you can see there is no padding in the right side, great. So I think we are almost done here, and after that let's say that the field, and for the label I will have the width of 100%, and also the padding we will have around 10 pixel, and pointer will be, sorry, cursor will be pointer, cursor will be the pointer, great. And if I do it correctly, it is looking good, you can see, awesome. And also let's go to our submit button. So here in our submit, so we have only one button in this whole application, so button which will have the type submit, so it will select the correct button. So display will be inline block, and width will be 100%, and border will be none, and outline will be also none, and height will be, let's say that 50 pixel, looking good. And background color will be, let's say that royal blue, this one, great. And also we need to say that the font size will be 18 pixel, and cursor will be pointer, and margin top will be 30 pixel, and if I do that correctly, great. And one more thing we need to do is that the color will be white, yeah, looks good. And also if we want we can add border radius here, 6 pixel, yep. So fine, you can see looking good, and I think we are almost done here for our CSS. And also let's say that for our small device I want to make it a little bit smaller, this whole layout, and for that I will say media only screen, and max width 768 pixel. And here what I will do is for our field the font size will be around 16 pixel. If I do that, now you can see a little bit smaller this all title. And also if I want we can actually change the button font size as well, so let's also do that here. So for our this button I will have the font size of previously it was 18, let's also make it 16 pixel. Yep, it is a lot smaller and I think it is good, great. I will not do anything else here for our small device, and it is looking fine. All of the element, almost everyone is having the border radius, why not the container one? So in our container I'm having no border radius, so let's add one. So let's say that border radius will be 6 pixel, or 8. I think 6 is good. What do you say? I don't know. It is looking good, or I just can increase it a little bit. 8 pixel. Yep, fine. So here you can see we are having a little bit too much padding in the left side here. So for that, what we can do is we can remove the padding for our level. So here we are having 10 pixel padding in our level, so let's remove that. And now it is looking much better, I think. Yep. So that's it for our CSS. We will not go further. So after that, let's go to our JavaScript. So first of all, here in our HTML, let's actually link our JavaScript file. So here in the bottom, let's say that script source, and it will be our main.js. So in our JavaScript, first of all, we need to select all the element that we are going to use in our JavaScript file. So let's actually do that quickly. Constant, first of all, result element. So result element like that, and equals to, and document dot query selector, and here I will say it is the result. So this is the result element from our HTML. If you remember, we are having this ID. So this is actually the input, this one, not that one, sorry. So this one, this is the input where we are having the ID result. So that's what I just selected, and I will do the same thing for all the other. Constant, so length element, so this is the length field actually. So length element equals to document dot query selector, and here I will have the result, sorry, length ID, so like that. So after that, we have our capital element. So this is the capital field, and this is the small element, and here I will have the small ID. So we also need to have one more element, which is the number element, and here I will say the number. Great. So after that, we need to select the special character one or symbol one. So special like that, and let's also say that symbol ID. And finally, we need to select the form. So here I need to say that PG form, and also we need to select the clipboard. So clipboard element, and let's select the clipboard ID. Do we have ID? So here you can see we are not having any ID, so let's select it with the class. Great. So now we have all the element that we need. So after that, first thing that I will do is I will create an array here. So constant fields array. So this will be an array for all of our fields where we will have all the necessary stuff. So the first one will be our capital one. So field will be the capital element, and for this field I will have a special function for getting the character. So getChar, so this will be the name or the key, you can say, and the value will be the function name. So get capital letter. So now we have our these two property. Great. I need to do the same thing for all of them. So let's say that for the second one, the field will be so a small element, and we need to create getChar function. So for the getChar function, in this case it will be the get a smaller letter, and I will do the same thing for all the other one. So field will be here, let's say that it will be number element, and here it will be get number, singular. Great. And copy it, paste it. So last one will be the symbol, so or a special character. So field name is the special element. So this is actually what we have already here. So for the capital element, it is capital, you can see. So this one, and the small element, this is this one, and the number element, this is this one, and for the special element, this is the special element that we selected. and for this one the function name will be the get special character. So great, so that's it for our array. Right now we are not having these all functions, we need to create these functions. So for that, first of all, we need to create a common function which is the get random character. So function, and let's say that get random character, and it will take two parameter, minimum and the maximum, and based on that it will provide a random character. And first of all I need to calculate the limit here. So constant the limit equals to we will say max minus minimum and plus 1. So this is the limit, and using that limit I need to return a random character. So I will actually return a random character based on the ASCII value, this minimum and the maximum. If someone says that so this is the ASCII table, and you can search ASCII table in the online and you will have probably similar result from a lots of websites, but I will link this particular website in the description. So here in the ASCII table you can see, so these are the elements that we want. So like if we want to have capital A, capital B, and I mean all the capital letters, you can see. So for this we need to actually get the ASCII value. So for the capital A the ASCII value is 65, and it will go on, you can see. So now what I need to do is I need to return a random number based on this range, minimum and the maximum. So for that, first of all I need to do is I need to calculate the limit, which I already did here. And after that, let's say that the range that we set here is this range, A to D, capital A to capital D, and for that I need to provide the minimum 65 and the maximum 68. So that is the range, and after that, based on that range we need to return a number or random character actually. So for that I will return and I will say string dot from char code, and after that from character code actually. So inside the character code we need to do the math flow first of all, and inside that we need to get a random number, and for that I will use math.random, and I will actually multiply this random with the limit. So now what it will do is it will give us a random number based on the limit. So here the limit is the 4, so based on our selection in this case, so the 4 is the limit, right? So it will provide a random number which is actually from 0 to 3. So because we are doing math.floor here, so it could be 0, 1, 2 or 3. And let's say that what we got is the random number 3, right? Or random number 2, let's actually make it 2. So we got random number 2, and we do not want to actually return this 2 from here because it will not represent these numbers. So to represent this number, what we need to do is we need to add these 2 with the minimum number that we have. So let's actually add minimum. So now we have our minimum number, and if I actually add our minimum number with this 2, so 65 is the minimum, and if I add 2 with this one, what we will get is the 67, and we will represent the C. And every time we will run this, it will select a random number based on 0 to 3 in this case, and the limit is 4. So whatever the limit is, it will be always n minus 1 in this case, because we are doing the math.floor, so it will be always 0 to n minus 1. So that's how we can actually return a random character based on the minimum and the maximum range. So once we do that, I will actually use it for all of our these functions. So first of all, let's actually come here and get the capital letters, and for that let's get the function. So function get capital letters, and in this case I will say return, and I need to actually run this get random character function, and inside that we need to provide minimum and the maximum. So for the capital letter here, you can see the minimum is the 65 and the maximum is the 90. So once I do that, after that it will call our get random character with the minimum and the maximum, and it will, every time I will call this get capital letter, it will always provide a random capital letter. And I will do the same thing for our other function. So function get a small letter, and in this case I will say return get small letter, and the range will be for our small letter, the minimum is the 97 and the maximum is this one, 122. So same thing for our number. So number is here, you can see. So these are the numbers, and the minimum, the maximum is the 48 and the maximum is the 57. So copy this, paste it, and let's say that get numbers, get number, and get random number character actually. So I just did a mistake here. So this will be get random character. So get random character, and in this case the minimum will be 48 and the maximum will be 57. Awesome. So now we have all of our functions. Actually we have 3 functions and we need to do one more, which is the special character. But if you notice, for our special character we are not having a particular range. We are having a special character some here, and after that we have some other place here, and also probably here some other. So we are not having all in one place. So for that, what I need to do is I need to do it in a little bit different way. So for that, let's get the function get special character, and in this case first of all I need to actually get a string for all of our special character. So a special character. So this special character string will contain all of our special character that we want to add inside of this random character choose. So here we have all of our special character, I believe, but if you want to add more, if you find other, you can add it here. So we have all of our special character inside this string, and after that I need to choose one randomly. So return a special character, and a special character inside the special character string here, you can see we need to actually select one randomly, and for that I need to provide a random index. So I'll say math dot floor, and inside that I will say math dot random, and here I will multiply this with the special character length, special character dot length. So that's all. It will provide a random special character whenever I will call it. Great. So now the final thing, we need to actually add this all thing with our form event listener. So let's come here and let's say that form dot, this is the form, yep, this is the form. So form dot add event listener, and the event is the submit event. So whenever I will submit this form by clicking the generate password button, I will say, so this is the event. First thing I will do is I will say e.prevent default. So it will prevent the default behavior of the form, submit, and after that constant the length of our password. So we need to actually get the number from this input, and for that I will say length element dot value. So that's all. It will get the, not like that, value. So like that. So now we have the length from this input. Whatever the length we have here for our password, we will get it inside this constant. After that we need to get our generated password. So let's actually create a let variable, because I will actually reassign that later in this function. So here let's say that the name will be generated password or something like that, and initially it will be empty. After that what I will do is I will go ahead and check for our all the field which is checked. So if we have 2 field which is checked, I will actually get those. So for that I will say constant type array. So this will be the all checked fields, which is the password letter type or the character type. So I will say field array dot filter. We will filter the field array, this one, because inside that we have our actual element and I need to check that element. So I will say filter, inside that we have our element, and inside that we have our property, which is the field. And here I will say we will keep only those field which is having field dot checked. So like that. So we will keep only those which is having field dot checked true. If it is false, means if it is not selected, we will not keep it inside this new type array. So now here you can see we have all the field which is checked. Let's actually rename that. Let's say that checked fields, like that. I think this is a good name, like that, checked fields. So these are the fields which is having the field checked. Great. So finally what we need to do is we need to create a loop here. So I will use for loop here. So let's actually create the for loop here, and for our for loop I will say I equals to 0. So we will start from the 0, and if I less than our length, so length is this one that we got from this field. So if I is less than our length, and also we will increase the I here. So this is the for loop condition. So right now we are having two selected field. Let's actually assume we are having capital and the small letter only selected, or let's also select the numbers. So now we have three selected fields, right? So first thing that I will do is I will actually get a random index from these three. So for that, constant, and let's actually name it index equals to, and I will use math.floor one more time, and inside that I will use math.random, and I will multiply it with the length of our checked fields. So it will give us a random number based on our checked fields. Here you can see. So if our checked fields, if we have three checked fields here, in this case it will provide a random index based on these three. So it could be 0, it could be 1 or 2, whatever. So now we have our index. So after that, using that index, I will get the letter. So constant letter equals to, so we need to use that index. So for that I will say actually checked fields, and the index is the index that we got randomly. So now from this array I need to actually call the function, which is the get character function that we have. So I'll say get character. So if I do it correctly, what it will do is it will select a random index, and using that random index it will select a random field. So let's say that it is selected this field, and after that it will call this get character function, which is this function. Ultimately it will call this our function, which will return the random a small letter. So every time it will loop through come here. So every time it will loop through here, it will generate a random password based on the index or based on our selected field actually. So great. And finally what I'll do is I will actually add this random letter with our generated password. So generated password plus equal the letter that we got. And finally from this whole function I need to do something. So finally after the whole function is done, we need to say result element dot value equals to the generated password that we got. So that's all, and now it should work. So let's actually check it. Now we have three selected field, and if I click this generate password, we have our generate password. Great. So if I say the length will be 6, let's see how many we will got. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we have a password with the length of 6. So great. And one more thing I need to check is that if our getting random character is working fine or not. So let's only select a small letter, and if I generate password with the length of let's say that 12, if I do that, I can see the minimum character a small a is added, and also the maximum character, which is the a small z or z, is also added, which means this one is actually working. So let's also check it for our capital letter, and here okay, we can see capital A, which is the smallest one, added, and the capital Z or Z, which is the highest or the maximum character. And also let's check the number one. 0 is added here, and also 9 we're not having 9 here, so yeah, we are having 9 here, you can see. So 0 and 9 both are added here, which means it is also working. And finally the random a special character. So in that case, the minimum one was the exclamation sign, you can see here, and the maximum one is the single quotation. So we can see the single quotation, which is the maximum one. And let's test for our, yep, here it is, the minimum one. So the exclamation sign, so which means this is also working. It is giving us the random character that we want. So everything is fine. Now whole application is working. So now we can select all of them and it will provide random password to us. Awesome. And finally, one thing I need to do is whenever I click this button, which is the clipboard button, if I click that, it will copy this randomly generated password to our clipboard. So for that, what I need to do is I need to say that clipboard element. So this is the element that we already selected, clipboard element. Let me check. Yep, here it is, clipboard element dot, and I will add a event listener here. So event listener will be the click event listener. So if I click this button, what we will do, so I will say inside this function, first of all I will get the text. So the text will be this generated password. So I will say result element dot value. So this is our generated password and this is the text that we want to copy. And after that, if we have any kind of text, I will show I will actually copy it in our clipboard. So for that, await, and I will say navigator. So navigator API dot clipboard dot write text, and inside that I will provide the text that we want to copy. So great. So we are using, so here we are using await, which means we need to make it async function. Great. And finally, once we do that, after that we need to show a message, and for that I will use simply alert here. So alert will be copied to your clipboard, like that. If we do not have any kind of generated password, in that case I'll also do a alert. Let me copy that, and I will say, so now we have all the things that we want. We have all of our messages. Now let's test it. So now we have a generated password, and if I click this button, you can see copied to your clipboard. So let's test it. If I paste it, you can see this is the same password. Great. And if I try to generate one more password and copy that and paste it here, you can see this is the generated password that we have here. Great. Now copy is working. And also let's say that if we do not have any kind of password in this our input, if I press that, you can see no password to copy. Awesome. So it is working. You can see all the functions are working, and I think that's it. So that's all. I think we have everything done. Everything is working properly, and now we have a fully working random password generator. Great. And I hope that you guys like that and you guys learned something from this video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe the channel to see more upcoming videos like this one. And that's it. Subscribe the channel, give it a thumbs up this video, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Till then, take care, bye bye, and Khuda Hafiz.